Hello everybody, lovely to catch up with you again. Hope you're all well. Thought we'd do a little bit of drawing in the garden today. Something like a still life, which means there are some objects which I'm going to have to look really closely at to get a really good drawing of them. So I'm not making it up as I go along. I've chosen a few objects over here that mean a lot to me. Got my little old teddy bear, which is a little handmade one. I've got a book and I've got a lovely gold box with lots of pattern on. I've put a scarf behind it because I wanted to add another little bit of texture into the drawing. So, if you're ready to begin, we'll have a go. I'm going to use a pencil today because I'm sure that most of you will have a pencil at home. If you've got paints or coloured pencils, then you're more than welcome to keep working your drawing through and seeing how it works out. But I'm going to just use a pencil today. I'm in the shade because it's a very hot day. So if you are drawing outside, make sure you're in the shade because the sun will burn you otherwise. Okay, let's start. Right, I've got my sketchbook and I'm going to have a little look to see what I can see first of all. So I'm going to very lightly draw in where my book is. Just across like that and coming down. From there I can see I've got my teddy bear and my teddy bear's about halfway down my book. So I'm going to just draw him in lightly to start off with because we know, don't we, that if we draw in too heavily we can't get rid of our mistakes. So that's going to be his body coming down here and up and around, and look where his arms go. And now that I've done his body shape, I can choose where his arm's going to be. So this one is going to come over like this. This one comes over here. I'm still looking, I'm constantly looking back and forth at what I'm drawing. Not just making it up, I'm having a really good look. And then his leg comes down here. Drawn that one a little bit too long down there. So if I do that, I'll know I can get rid of that when I want to. See, even I can make mistakes when I'm not looking carefully enough. So it's really important that you have a good look. I'm going to draw his little face in, very sweet little nose, and his eyes, and his ears. So I've got him in there. Right, I'm looking now where my cloth goes. And it's on my bench, so I've got a piece going up there for my bench. And then this comes up and over and along the arm of the bench. And then it comes around like this. And it sort of drapes down here. Okay, so I know I've got a little bit of colour in there as well. And if I look behind where it comes on the book, it comes down, I'm looking carefully, it comes down to about here. So I'm then going to draw this coming along, and then I've got lots of little fringy bits. I'm not going to look too carefully at those because they're just a little bit extra on there. I've also got a pot on there. It's a very beautiful gold pot. I'm going to draw him on there like that. Around. I'm going to see how it goes underneath like that. So that's my basic setup of what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to go over them a little bit darker now so you can see them. You won't need to do this, it's just for you to be able to see how I've worked out something that we call composition. A little bit like composing a piece of music. Only we're putting all of these things together and we're composing a drawing for our work of art today. So here we go. There's his little leg, I've just noticed it goes up a little bit at the end and over to here, and then his leg comes around the back, down to here, over, over, down, and then his other little arm comes around like this. So you can now see the sorts of shapes that I've got. Okay, you don't have to do yours as dark as that, it's just for me to be able to show you. Alright, and there's the book going into his arm there. You can see a little bit of the side of the book, so I'm going to put this down here and down here, and now our book starts to look a little bit more three-dimensional, like it's more of a solid shape, just by putting that little line down there. My pot, I'm going to look, I've got the sun coming in from this side, So I'm going to put a little arrow in the top of my picture to remind me where it's coming from. And then I'm going to just do some of the little patterns on here. Yours might not be a pattern thing, but I've got lots of little patterns. So I'm just going to do lots of little squiggly patterns on there. No need for me to do them too detailed, because my favourite thing on here, to be honest, is my teddy bear. But I'm going to do it like this. And when I'm looking, this part, because the sun is coming down from here, this part is going to be a little bit more in shade. So I'm just going to use the side of my pencil, like this, to do my shading. Here we go again, like that to do my shading. Like that for a nice crisp line, and like that for shading. And you can do that as hard as softly as you want. I'm just going to do it like that for now. And my pot is there. It's the bottom of my book. Right, and my book, the shading is down here as well. So again, I'm using the side of my pencil to come down, just to give you the idea. Now I've got some shade behind the teddy bear for his ear. So I'm looking at light bits and dark bits. And I've got some shade this side of his head. Then I've got a little bit of shade on his arm and on his leg, coming around like this. And a lot more shade coming around his hand. So it's almost like a little shadow that's being cast. So my teddy's face is a little bit darker on this side. Not much, but enough. And my teddy's ear is, let's have a close look, it's got a little bit darker there. And then I'm having a little look, and it's a little bit darker down here. Now that's his nose. I draw that in quite hard. And his eye, when I know it's in the right place, I'm going to draw that in as well. It's quite a scruffy little teddy bear, I rather love him. And the edges of the arms are a little bit wobbly. So I'm going to use the side of my pencil, and I'm going to go like this, because I can show a different type of texture. If I used the point, it would be a bit hard. If I use the side of my pencil, I can get a softer wobbly line. So I'm just going to do that here. And he's got a little line down the middle of his tummy where he's joined up. And there we go. He's got a little bit more darkness under his leg. A little bit more darkness down here. And here where the scarf is, that looks quite dark down there. Alright. You can't probably see it, but I'm constantly looking up and down, like I do when I'm in school working on the big board. Constantly looking at what I'm drawing. When I'm doing the big board, it's a bit more tricky for me really, because it's a very, very big space that I'm drawing onto. This is a little bit more of a controlled one. I'm looking at the book on his head, and I've got quite a lot more dark up here. In fact, I think this is, looking at it, one of the darkest bits I can see. Okay, so I'm going to shade that in up there like so. And when you're doing this, I would suggest that you find some really beautiful things that mean a lot to you. But before you even take them, it might be a favourite toy or something, I need you to ask the grown-up in the house as to whether you can have it and whether you can draw it and whether you can take it outside. It might be perhaps that if you've got an adult in the house with you, which you will have, you would like perhaps for them to join in a drawing session as well. It's a really lovely thing to do together. Okay, so I'm just going to do this little bit of scarf coming in here now. Again, because I'm shading, I'm using the edge of my pencil, not the top of it, but the side of it. And his little legs. And he's got a little seam going up there. And I've got a little bit of shading coming in here as well. And over here. Now you can notice I've got my little sketchbook balanced on my knee. It might help you if you've got a board or a bigger book, or perhaps a kitchen tray, but again, ask your grown-ups first. I like to draw like this when I'm looking at something, because if it's flat like this, I'm not really looking at it at the same, on the same plane, we say, on the same way, looking straight on. If I were drawing it on there, flat, I would probably have my drawing book like that. But because that's propped up, I'm propping my book up as well. Right, I'm not going to do an awful lot more to that, because I know that my poor son who's filming me at the moment is going to get a very stiff arm. But you can see I can just do a little bit of the books up here, right, and a little bit down here. A little bit of the material. Looking at the material now, I can see I've done a mistake. I've got that coming from there, but if I look at the picture, I've got a lot more of it on the top than that, so I need to alter that so it comes up here more and around. So don't be frightened to alter things. All the best artists in the world make mistakes, but it's not really a mistake, it's just another little way of testing so that you can put things right. So don't get upset if you feel that you've gone wrong somewhere. If you've got a little bit more if you've got a little more paper, then you can always have another go. I'm going to show you one more last thing, right? You know when we're in school and we use our black pens, this isn't like a school one, but it does the same sort of job. It's one of the pens which has got ink with a fine little nib on the top. Now I'm going to ask you to test first of all, because sometimes this ink doesn't do what I want it to do. But I'm just going to show you down here, just as a little idea, okay? If I were using this ink and I wanted to test it, I'm just going to do it up there for a minute. And then I'm going to get my paintbrush and a little bit of water. Have to do this quite quickly. And when I add it, it's going to shade a little bit. Not as good as the ones in school, I admit, but it's the only ones I have at home at the moment. But you could test some of yours at home, and then perhaps you could do another little quick drawing. I'll leave that one there for now. Put that one there for now, give you an idea. And I'm just going to show you, I'm going to do a quick drawing of the teddy with a pen this time. And I'm not going to take pen off the paper. Ooh, really got to look now, my goodness. Ooh, I'm going to have to go back down there and around there, because I'm not taking my pen off the paper at all. It's going to go up there. Then he's got an eye. How am I going to do an eye? Eye's going to have to go like that, I think. He might even end up looking like he's got sunglasses on it this way. Back up. There's his nose, which is a little bit bigger. Pen still on the paper. And back over. And he's got another little eye up here. You get the idea, don't you? There we go. And then from there, I'm going to look at his arm. Oh, I think that's a bit short, but never mind. I'm going to go back over and down here. And I'm going to do his other arm. And then I'm going to go down to there where his legs join. Oh, he's got some big arms and some smaller arms. But here we go. And then he's got a foot which sort of goes like that from where I am at the moment. And he's got a little line going up there as well. Oh, he's going to look a funny one, this one. And then he's going to come down here. And he's got his leg like that. Back down I go. And then over to there. Could go over it all because he's got a fuzzy area. He could come over like this, couldn't he? So I'm just going squiggle, squiggle, squiggle all the way around. Still not taking the pencil off the pen off the paper. Okay. And up. And there's his arm. Done that one a bit big, haven't I? Never mind. Here we go. So I'm not getting upset because I've gone wrong. I just know I have. I'd know then to think again before I did it again. And down to the other side of his head. Oops. Oh, I've taken my pen off the paper. Because I've taken my pen off the paper, I'm going to put it back on a line. I'm going to follow it along as if I hadn't taken it off. I've just realised I hadn't done that bit down there. And then, I'm just going to see whether it works. Don't think it's working as well as I want to, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to go like this over his eyes and his nose. And down here. Can you see how we've got some grey starting to show now? Need a little bit more water. I'm not going to do all of it, I'm just going to go over some of the lines. If I go all of it, it'll just turn out a big grey mess, and that won't be much fun. Here we go. I can think about where he was darker, actually. He was darker in the shade in there, wasn't he? Oops, I'm going to move my water closer. There we go. And I'm going to do his belly. And around here. And I'm looking carefully, where's the shadow? Bit of a shadow down there. Bit of a shadow down here. Over here we've got a bit coming down here by his legs. A little bit more down there. So that's a different type of drawing, that's Eddie. Okay, so we've got the pen one, or we've got the pencil one. Pen one's really good fun if you just want to do something quite quick, and you can all have a go at that at home, any other children as well. See what you can draw quickly without taking your pencil or your pen off the table, off the paper. Okay, right, I'm all done here. I hope you enjoy what I've done, and I'm really looking forward to when I see you next. Okay, take care everybody. Missed you lots. Bye-bye.